announce the return to Wisteria Lane.
Made by Nicola Chairman. And for those of you who are up to date on their Desperate Housewives, you now know that that house is occupied by her Dame Harry, who is played by Vanessa Williams. And of course, these are not the only famous faces to ever live on Wisteria Lane. We've had a former president living here. That was President Ronald Reagan in the movie Bedtime for Bonzo. Also, we passed by Seaton House here on the right-hand side, now the Yellow House. That's where the Party Boys lived in the 1970s. Next door to that, the Purple Gray House is 1313 Mockingbird Lane, the home of the Munsters. And as we pass by Gabby's Gold House, remember that back in 1950, that house was occupied by Jimmy Stewart and football and Mary Rabbit, Amy Harvey. The movie Harvey is up Mary Kay's Lane on Paris Street. This was also once called Colonial Street. The Beaver family has lived here. And this is also where Tom Hanks filmed The Burbs. So you've seen the houses here in the California sunshine when they're set, dressed, and ready to go. Man, they are just... Someone is out there. I think that's Roland Bates himself. So, what is he up to? Okay, he really should not be here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's only two things that really make Norman angry. One is taking pictures of him, and the other is waving at him. So please don't make me do those things while we're out here today. We were just going to try and get out of it. What did I just say to you guys? No, Norman, stop. Oh, stop waving at him. It's going to bring him over here. Norman, no. No, put that knife away. Norman, don't make me mad. She's the troublemaker. Stop waving at her, you guys. It's only him. It's on you now. It's on you, guys. Wash my hands of the whole thing. No. Up the hill from one. Norman makes it work if you find one. Norman makes it again. Take a look. Stop waving at him. Few houses to survive the carnage that is one of the most elaborate film sets ever constructed. It rivals James Cameron's Titanic. It rivals Cecil B. DeMille's depiction of ancient Rome with the Ten Commandments. It is the airplane crash site set for War of the Worlds, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to director Steven Spielberg along with production designer Rick Carter to tell you a little bit more about bringing this incredible set to life.
Airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision of Steven.
When we first began to sit down to talk about War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. That's right. Now listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Got them closed? Robbie, get in. Get in.
Now this is a real 747 that was purchased for the film from an airplane graveyard for about $60,000, which was quite a deal. But then it cost about $200,000 just to get it here. The tail section here is actually so big it had to be airlifted in because it wouldn't fit under any of the California overpasses. The plane weighs 375,000 pounds and is surrounded with over 100 tons of debris. We're very lucky to have Summers undertook a remake of the classic 1932 Universal monster movie The Mummy. A little known fact about that movie, lots of little known facts. There was actually originally a role written for Whoopi Goldberg in this movie as a cryptography specialist, but she actually came to visit the set one day and disappeared, and no one on the set ever saw her again. It seems like a lot of strange things happening. might have filmed out here. Any NCIS fans on here? A couple there too, in car 2. NCIS with Mark Harmon is filmed here as well. TV's #1 drama. Or #1 drama. There aren't a whole lot of watches on the train here today. And then how about who's a fan of Spider-Man? All right, quite a few more hands there. Yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man, which is headed into theaters this July, actually had a very extended stay here for about 6 weeks at the beginning of last year, so January of 2011. They filmed here for about 6 weeks. They actually filmed all over the greater Los Angeles area, but had quite a stay here in the metropolitan sense. They had the entire area green screened off, and we couldn't see what was going on down here for about 6 weeks because director Mark Webb wants to really focus on doing practical effects with his Spider-Man movies rather than with Sam Raimi, who focused more on doing computer-generated Spider-Man stunts. Mark Webb really wants to do a lot of practical stuff, so that means real actors, real stuntmen swinging on wires, jumping from building to building, up on top of cars and that kind of thing. So that's why they had to have a lot more control by filming here on New York Street as well. Also, 24 used to film out here a lot before that show ended as well. So, you know, all of these different areas of the lots, you know, have either been rebuilt or redesigned. Like I said, this area that we're sitting in right here actually is called London Square, and it's an area that actually never existed before the fire. Car number 4 makes a noise for me. Pathetic. Pathetic. All right, let's try it. Let's see car number 3. You guys, you better. Car number 3 makes a noise. There you go. A little bit better. All right, car number 2. Nice. Car number 1. No, car number 4. I'm going to give you another opportunity to do it just like everyone else did. So car number 4 makes a noise. Still pretty lame. So the rest of you are going to have to pull away for car number 4 as we head in.
I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up on the bench. Cole literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to the Lost Island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, you know, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. In a sense, this is like a mini sequel, a mini continuation. We're just taking the Kong and Skull Island and the dinosaurs that we established in our feature film, and this is glasses on, everybody. We're back in Skull Island.
get a chance to meet up close and personal in just a few seconds, including that one right there on screen. The Deathmobile from John Landis's Animal House is one of the very first ones here on the end. You see the Magnum PI Ferraris right here. That's actually not a real Ferrari. It is a fiberglass shell with a dune buggy frame and a Volkswagen engine on the inside. You see the Mule from Joss Whedon's Serenity, based off the TV series Firefly. Joss Whedon has the Avengers coming this coming summer. And then you see my two favorites car, Biff Tannen's car, and the most famous picture car in Hollywood, the DeLorean from Back to the Future, one of 5 DeLoreans purchased for the film, one of about 15 different incarnations of the car itself. Who said woo when I said Avengers? Yeah? You guys excited for the Avengers? You want to hear something that'll make you angry? No! I've already seen it. I know. It's well, this is what I'll tell you all. I'll make it good. It's amazing. It is amazing. I've already seen it, and I'm still going to see it at midnight again on the 4th. So don't worry about it. It's only like 2 or 3 more weeks too, so it's almost here. So speaking of picture cars, we're going to go ahead and take you guys behind the scenes and show you how we create the incredible sequences in movies like Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, and of course Fast 5. So say hello to Carnage and Karma here inside of Soundstage 55. There are performing stunt cars. Well, they're a little bit shy, but we'll see if we can get them to do it.
We're on the set.
Okay, here we go. Get those cameras ready. They're ready to show us
Let's
something.
see the bullet hits. And go. Smoke. Go. Fire. Go. Okay, we're clear for a full run through. All systems checked. This one's for real, guys, so watch out. And action.
Nicely done, ladies and gentlemen. Give a big round of applause for Carnage and Karma. Guys, take a bow. And if you cheer really loud, they might do something else. Computer-controlled robotics. Those robotic arms are called gimbal. On either side of the trim, we have some wonderful leftover set pieces, props, and vehicles from the second chapter of the Jurassic Park trilogy. That is The Lost World, Jurassic Park. You might recognize the mobile lab unit here at the left-hand side of the trim that was pushed off of a cliff by 2 very angry Tyrannosaurus Rexes with our actors still inside. Out here too, racing the tram. Make sure you get a good picture though. After all, they could be big stars here in the next few years. There is continued talk of a possible 4th Jurassic Park film roaring back into theaters. Now, the Jurassic Park movies are a really wonderful example of films that utilize weather to help tell their story, and I could tell you all about this, but I luckily have someone much more qualified than myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome him to the screen from the Today Show, Mr. Al Roker.
Hi, everybody. Here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry in 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street, and we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Skull Island, Amity Island, and Isla Nublar. That's your forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the line.
All right, so we're headed into Old Mexico. Looks like we have a flash flood warning. I don't think we have to worry about that too much because the riverbed looks pretty low, but we are going to give you a little demonstration on how we do just what Al was talking about weather. So So I have these buttons on my console I can push and start up. You know, some thunder, some lightning, maybe even a little theme music for old Mexico itself. And then if I push this last button here, on comes the rain. Now what we have here is an overhead sprinkler system that shoots the water straight up into the air so that it falls back down to the ground naturally. Now rain is actually pretty hard to pick up on film, so a lot of filmmakers will mix their water with film, so it shows up better to the eye of the camera. So all those years ago, Mr. Gene Kelly wasn't actually singing in the rain, he was singing in the film. And all I have to do is push this button again, it turns the rain off. Turns the rain off. Okay, this is gonna get a whole lot worse before it gets any better. Alright, nothing to worry about. That flash flood is actually the result of thousands of gallons of recycled water being released from the top of the hill. You guys might recognize Old Mexico from movies like Hop or Three Amigos, also television shows like NBC's Community, Showtime's Shameless, and Fox's House. You might recognize the flash flood from its feature-length debut in the movie Big Fat Liars, starring Paul Giamatti, Amanda Bynes, and Frankie Muniz.
About that.
But for now, we're going to take you guys across the border into a little area called 6 Points, Texas. It's called 6 Points. In fact, during the silent film era, you could film up to 6 movies here at the same time, one on each one of these 6 streets. Each street had its own bank, its own sheriff's office, its own saloon, and its own hotel. We actually had a very famous cowpoke out here not too long ago.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
That man's real name, John Wayne, was his stage name. His real name was Marion Michael Morrison, but the man says they called him John Wayne, or simply the Duke. After all, he did play 37 characters named John, 7 named Duke, and not a single one named Marion. So as we pull forward here out of 6 Points, Texas, take a look at the left-hand side of the tram and keep an eye out for this thing right here. That's our underwater tank. It keeps our cast, our crew, and most importantly our camera dry while we film underwater sequences. There's actually hatches on the side of the underwater tank that allow us to film through the inside, or we can film from an elevated position as well. They've done episodes of Fear Factory here, The Biggest Loser, but of course a lot of film and television here as well. Here's a good example for you from 1987 in the movie Dragnet. And Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd, they battled a giant snake inside of the Captain Terry, and we're going to go seaworthy. So if you have anything on the floor of the tram, you might want to grab it up just in case we don't want it to get wet. But definitely grab your cameras, because we're going to give you a very similar perspective to the one that Peter Jackson's camera used when they were filming here back in 2005. And I'll show you what that looked like before we head down into the water. There they are. This is what it looked like when we were filming. Like I said, this is actually as big as Skull Island ever got. So this is as big as it ever got in real life. Every other depiction of it was done inside of a computer in front of a green screen. So the island itself, this is as big as it ever got, and it's coming here off the left-hand side of the tram. You can see even the scale model of the SS Venture is right here as well. What the finished effect looked like when they finished the movie. This is what it looked like when it was used in the film. It's very, very convincing. Well, it's only convincing to a point. After all, if a duck decides to swim into your shot, it's going to kind of wreck the illusion that that ship is full size. Real working soundstage, which is something we usually reserve just for the VIP tours. This is soundstage 50. It's actually the only two-story soundstage underground subway station. They actually used this set very recently for filming on an episode of Fox's Bones, starring David Boreanaz and Emily Deschanel. And they actually used it for this very same... Alright, nothing to worry about, folks. Just a little tremor. We get them here in California. Alright, I might have spoken too soon. Hang on, folks. This could be the big one. Alright, well there's the second floor. I didn't think you were going to get to see it, but there it is. Oh no, I hear more rumbling. San Andreas, this is your fault! Let's get out of here.